Hey everyone, Miss Dempsey here. Welcome to Season 3 of the Manufacturer Series exhibition. For this season, I'll be using Porsche, but anyways, let's get this started. For this first turn, you're going to use a path that is on your right as your braking point. You will use some braking, so trail brake into the first apex, and at some point you want to use all of your braking to slow down a lot more. Gently ease off the brakes. Look for the end of the curb on the right, as that will be your accelerating point. Then for the S's, it's all about throttle control. Try to stay as close as you can to the inside of the turns. Then for this right-hander, you can use a little bit of braking, as this turn happens to be a little sharp. Ease off the throttle here and try to go for a late apex, so where the curb on the left ends, and carefully accelerate as you don't want to go into the gravel. For this turn, you'll be using the 50-meter sign as your braking point. You'll brake hard for a moment, trail brake into the apex, and slowly start to accelerate. Do not get on the AstroTurf. Then brake before the curb on the left ends, get the car to rotate, then start to accelerate, and once again, avoid the AstroTurf on the left. Look for the end of the curb on the right, as that will be your braking point, and you want to try to get the car to rotate as quickly as possible. The end of the hairpin gets a little bit wide, so you can take advantage of the width of the track to get yourself under full throttle as soon as you can. Just make sure your car is almost done turning so you don't end up oversteering and spinning out. The path on the right will be your next braking point. You'll brake hard for a moment, trail brake into this turn, slowly accelerate. Then before the curb on the right ends, you'll brake, go down into second gear if you haven't yet, and use the end of the curb on the left as your accelerating point. Do not get on AstroTurf on the right, as that will slow you down. When you reach the 50-meter sign on the right, you'll use it as your turning point and just ease off the throttle for a moment, then get back to full throttle. Bring yourself to the left and brake before you reach the 100-meter sign, and this should give you just enough space to be able to nail these two apexes. Carefully accelerate your way through these turns, and if you know you have a good time, bring yourself to the right. If you want to do another lap, bring yourself to the left to get a little bit more speed. And that is all for this lap guide. Let's quickly talk about the strategies. Now, interestingly, for this race, all three tire compounds can be used, but also there are no tire requirements, so you can use all soft stints, all medium stints, all hard stints, or just one hard stint. Mix things up, it's up to you. Or you can just wait until I start talking about the strategies, because that works too. So I tested out two different strategies. Someone else was testing out the third one, and let's just say, well, we'll talk about that in a moment. But with the first strategy, this one's pretty simple. Every 4 laps, you go on over to the pit stop, get a new set of racing soft tires, and you're good to go. For the second strategy, you go on over to the pit stop at the end of lap 6, get a new set of racing medium tires, and you're good to go. And the third one, don't worry about pitting at all. Now, here's the thing. When I was doing the practice races with the softs and the mediums, with the softs I was getting noticeably better times. Even though the tires wear out pretty quickly, I was getting 158s, and then eventually goes up to 159, 201 before I go in and get a new set of tires. With the mediums, I was already starting my times at 201, and while they were consistent for a bit more, so consistently at 201, then 202 a few laps later, the thing is that the pit stop duration is short, and with the time differences being so noticeably big, I don't see why there's a reason that one should be using the racing medium Sinso strategy too. Unless if your car has a ton of tire wear, which I can't remember off the top of my head which cars they are. I'm just going to say just try going with the first strategy where you only use racing soft tires. Just make sure you pit every 4 laps and you are good to go. Now with the racing hard tire strategy, that's the other thing. if I'm getting noticeably slower times with the racing medium tires, and if the pit stop times are short, even if you're pitting multiple times like with the first strategy, then I just don't see any reason why someone should run with the racing hard tires. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this guide. Once again, I just want to make it a little straightforward. Let me know what you think, if you come up with any other interesting strategies. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. So this is Mr. MCA wishing you a happy 2020, and I'll see you in the next video.